All her childhood the girl spent in a small church orphanage far from the big cities. She had been cared for there since the earliest years as she was an orphan. For unknown reasons, her parents abandoned her, and she was found on the doorstep. The people there were very good, and the girl received a worthy upbringing. Thanks to them, she grew to love all manifestations of life with all her heart. At the orphanage, she performed various chores for her mentors and prayed to the Lord every day. The girl was very kind, and although she had no parents, she had dear people who cared for her daily, showering her with happiness and warmth. The girl prayed to the Lord, thanking Him for the happiness given to her. Her soul was truly innocent and pure, and one fine day the Lord answered her prayers. One day, the girl found an injured bird, and she desperately wanted to save it. Of course, she didn't know how to treat such wounds, but that didn't stop her. She prayed to the Lord, believing that He would surely help. And a miracle happened. The Lord answered. The moment the bird stood on its newly healthy legs and soared into the sky was a moment she remembered forever. It was one of the happiest days of her life. The mentors at the orphanage learned about this miracle, and the decision was made to transfer the girl to a large cathedral. She was very young and didn't understand much, but one thing she knew for sure: she could help many people. The girl was genuinely happy. When she transferred to the big cathedral, many people came to her from all ends of the earth, all seeking a miracle. And the girl gave it, the miracle of the Lord. She healed everyone. People always received a measure of the miracle from her. These were the happiest times for the girl, as she was doing what she had dreamed of all her childhood. That's what the girl tried to think, convincing herself. Because despite bringing so much happiness to people, her soul always felt incomplete. Everyone called her the saintly maiden and didn't dare even look into her eyes. When she wanted to approach someone from the congregation, they would only lower their heads and wouldn't dare look at her face. The girl was sad about this, but she tried not to show it, because the most important thing was that people were happy. And if they are, then I am happy too. She thought this and prayed to the Lord with even greater fervor. This continued until one incident. While strolling in the garden near the church, she discovered a young boy. The boy was very young, about the same age as her. The girl was surprised as she didn't know how he ended up there. Besides, he was her peer, and she rarely got to interact with people her own age. The next moment, she noticed that the boy was wounded. He had a terrible gash on his chest. Naturally, the girl wanted to help him and heal the youth. He was grateful to her, and they chatted pleasantly. Just as the girl thought she had finally met a friend, church attendants spotted them. A terrible truth was revealed to the girl. The youth was a devil, the very devil who went against his will, the will of the Lord, the kind of creature mentioned in the Bible as the most awful monster. The girl's world collapsed. The church attendants expelled her. She instantly ceased to be a saint. She was treated as a heretic. She was forced to leave the cathedral. As she left, the girl did not say a word against them, but her soul was bitter and painful. Offense choked her from the inside, and tears wouldn't stop. Why, Lord? She only wanted to help and give happiness to people. Why me, Lord? The girl held fast. Although dear people had turned away from her, hope still burned in her soul because she did not regret her actions. Perhaps if she had known immediately that he was a devil, she would have been afraid. But instead, they had chatted for a while, and the girl realized that he was no different from themselves. So why then? The girl didn't know and was only filled with countless questions. It was then that a person found her. She was offered to continue her charitable work, but this time in the service of the fallen angels. Yes, she knew who the fallen angels were. They were God's children who failed his expectations. They violated the laws of the Lord and were cast out, the rejected ones, those you must never associate with. But they said the same thing about devils, and they turned out not to be so bad. Maybe the fallen angels aren't so bad either. With these thoughts, the girl accepted the offer and traveled to a distant eastern country. A new, still unclear spark of hope ignited within her, for she would be able to help people again, and perhaps someday she herself. At first, upon arriving in Japan, everything went well. She was fortunate to meet kind people. A certain brother and sister kindly helped her. A new, still vague flame of hope flared up in her soul. She felt she had made the right decision. Perhaps the Lord himself was leading her hand. Alas, after some time her illusions were destroyed. The Holy Father, who was a strange person but outwardly a pleasant young man, turned out to be like... She couldn't believe it. Looking at the horror before her, the work of his hands. How can he be so cruel, capable of such a thing? The second shock was that the boy who helped the girl turned out to be a devil. The girl was completely confused. Her thoughts threatened to drive the poor girl mad. Everything she knew before, everything she had followed her whole life, scattered in an instant. The Holy Father was a devil. And the devil? A virtuous person. But the girl was strong in spirit and made a decision. She followed the call of her heart and tried to protect the boy. He helped me. He can't be bad. Late that evening after the events, the girl was distraught. She couldn't understand anything. Everything was wrong. It was improper. Unable to bear it, she miraculously managed to escape the church towards morning. She knew that she probably wouldn't get far. They would definitely find her. But even so, even if that was the case, she had to at least try. And suddenly, a miracle happened. The Lord turned his face towards her again. For at that very moment, she met that boy. And not just him. His little sister was with him, so sweet and kind. The girl noticed some oddities in their behavior, such as the sister whipping the brother with a stick, encouraging him in a rather strange way. But the girl didn't pay much attention to it. After all, she never had a family. How was she to know what relations between relatives were like? Maybe they're playing. The girl smiled, watching the older brother push himself, striving to live up to his little sister's support. What a good relationship they have. They help each other. And after that came a truly unforgettable day. A day they spent together. For the first time, she had real friends. In that moment, the girl felt that this was exactly what she had been missing. She felt the light of the Lord in her soul. His blessing had descended upon her. This is what she felt walking through the city with her new friends. In that moment, the girl forgot everything. All worries and troubles seemed to be carried away by the wind. She finally received what she had so desired.
Well, are you finished there? Why are you taking so long? It's time to start the ritual. Came the voice of one of the girl's recent benefactors. Tilting her head, she saw the girl with black wings giving orders to people. She couldn't fully see the figure. Chains and the protrusions of the cross-shaped altar on which she was crucified obscured her view. She couldn't even move and was only able to turn her head. On the edge of her vision, the black, like gloom itself, wings of the benefactor were clearly visible. A tear rolled down the girl's cheek as she imagined what would happen to her next. No, she wasn't afraid of death, for she would finally go into the arms of the Lord. Although perhaps she wouldn't now, she had helped a devil. Not once, not even twice. She was now a sinner herself. And why are you crying? Be grateful that you have been granted such an honor. Reynard-sama's face suddenly appeared. You will become the stepping stone through which I will finally be able to ascend. This should be a great honor for someone like you. After all, you are helping an angel. Hee. Her face stretched into a smirk. The girl lowered her head, unable to look at the smile of this angel. God's children were not at all what she had imagined. But despite the despair, one bright thought did not leave her. After all, in the end, she had found happiness, she had friends, and she was able to help that boy. A slight smile appeared on her face as she recalled that moment. Ha, so that's how it is. The voice of the daughter of God suddenly came again. You must think you saved that wretch, and now it's not scary to die, huh? Did I guess right? Her laughter echoed through the church. But don't worry, I will definitely deal with him later, and that little brat too. Her face contorted into a predatory sneer. Fear and despair. That is what the girl felt in that moment. Her chest constricted with pain. She couldn't breathe, and tears streamed from her eyes. Never before had she felt such pain. But, Sub, how could this happen? Sub, why is everything like this? Why is everything like this? I finally found people dear to me and... Sub, Lord, help me. Tears streamed down her cheeks, framing the maiden's face. She felt such pain for the first time. Lord, help me. Lord, help me. Lord, why are you doing this to me? At that moment, a crash and a cracking sound were heard from the upper floors of the church. Stone grit rained down from the ceiling of the basement room where they were located. Huh, those spawn have shown up after all? Excellent then. I will personally incinerate him before your eyes. More precisely, her voice turned into a snake's whisper. Before your corpse's eyes, because it will be too late for you. Ha ha ha. She turned to the people nearby. Begin! Issei-san, Tanya-chan, forgive me, forgive me. The altar began to flicker with a green light, and the runes on the chains glowed. A radiance began to envelop the girl, and something was forcing its way inside her. She couldn't stop it, but suddenly, a brilliant light flooded the surroundings. Golden, pure, holy light. A light that could only belong to one kind of being in this world. What? What is happening? The fallen angel shrieked and recoiled. The girl looked up and saw that she was enveloped by a sphere of warm and gentle light. It prevented the hostile energy from penetrating inside. This light, his light, there was no doubt. It was as if the truth itself surfaced in her subconscious, because it could belong to no one else. She felt it. She sensed it. She knew it. Looking down at her wrist, she saw that the bracelet given by her dear friend was the source of this light. And then, a singing girl's voice, which she wished to hear at least one last time, came from it. Anya-chan, Anya-chan, hold on. I know you can do it. Help is coming soon, very soon. In those words, she saw the truth that had been hidden in the depths of her soul since their first meeting, an obvious truth, yet one that had relentlessly been slipping away. In this moment, she saw the true daughter of God.